is a color.
Think of a rainbow.
Color me white as snow that falls across this land that I love. Loving thy neighbor,
Just like a brother.
willing to labor for those stars and stripes that fly up above. The flag that waves above us all is mainly red and blue, but it wouldn't have stars or half of its stripes if not for the white part too. America, America, I
Fascinating. I didn't know that. And I am a white person. Oh, hello there. I'm Martin Mull. Welcome to the new home video version of the History of White People in America, Volume 2. That's right, Volume 2. Volume 1, for those of you who missed it, I'm sorry, it just kind of came and went like a house of fire. I would say check with your video store. It's probably back by now. Or go to the 7-Eleven. They got them right there between the pantyhose and the mints. Anyway, welcome to the show. Or should I say the shows, because what you're watching here is actually 4 shows on one tape. If you like them all, you've got enough video to entertain out-of-town relatives for days. Well, let's get started. Show number 1 is called White Religion. It's about how white people see God and vice versa. Now, for some, it will change their lives. For others of a different persuasion, it will only change their viewing plans for this evening. If you have any questions, I'll be back after the show. So right now, White Religion.
And why were all those animals there to begin with? Because animals were intended to congregate. And that includes the two-legged variety. I am deeply saddened to look out this morning upon so many empty seats. Where are our young people? Where are their parents? And their parents? Well, of course, their parents are dead. But next Sunday, I'd like to see this church looking like Noah's Ark, but hopefully not smelling like it. Oh, while I got you here, those of you who are involved in the Sodom and Gomorrah pageant, Mrs. Schneider will be holding costume fittings in the cafetorium right now. See you next Sunday. Bring a friend. Always plenty of free parking.
Hello, I'm Martin Mull, and it is one beautiful Sunday morning here in HawkinsI Falls, Ohio. We're here to continue our unrelenting exploration of the genus Whitus americanus, the white American. Now, where are all the people, you may ask? Well, as I said, it's Sunday morning, and it's my guess that these people are out exercising their basic right to worship in the church of their choice. The Catholics are saying their rosaries. The Lutherans are saying basically the same thing without the benefit of rosaries. The Unitarians are discussing El Salvador. And in South HawkinsI Falls, the Baptists are shaking their tambourines and passing out. Now, these people may not all agree on the text, but they do agree on one basic truth, that there's something pretty scary out there, and it's worth an hour out of your week to make friends with it. The Harrisons have been members of the HawkinsI Falls Methodist Church since Hal had his second gallbladder attack.
I can't believe you wrote that thing all by yourself. I had some inspiration. Very long, too, a lot of work.
Joyce enjoys singing the old-time hymns. Hal just likes knowing he's rubbed elbows with the guy upstairs.
Did you buy your raffle tickets?
Oh, good. Buy
Hang
a
on to
couple.
them. It's a beautiful car.
Thank you. You need a Buick.
Hello.
You know, I feel like I've rubbed elbows with the guy upstairs.
Oh, me too.
Well, it's a nice feeling. I hope it lasts all week.
It will. Why don't we let Scott sit up front with you and I'll sit in the back with Debbie, okay?
Let the lovebirds sit together. You ride shotgun.
I want to ride shotgun.
Oh, this way your mom's right next to me, son.
Don't you do anything I wouldn't do, Mr. Harrison.
Oh, Scott.
Hey, what does that mean exactly?
It's a joke, Joyce. It's the kind of joke that men like Scott and myself understand, right, Scotty? Get in that car. I've lost the key. Oh, you have. Why the hell do you always do that? No, I'm serious. You scared me to death.
You wanted me to take the keys.
Well,
They were
I thought I had
making
to
a bulge
traipse
in your
back in and
pants.
crawl under pews for 20 minutes.
No,
Really, it's annoying. I know I told you to take it, but to remind me or something. Ooh, that's hot. Everything in? All right, let's get out of here. Nice.
Sunday morning. Not only a time for the Word of God, but a chance to let it lap over into your real life. For the Harrisons, this means Sunday brunch at Danny's. Some may order breakfast. Some may order lunch. That's where they get the name, brunch. It has a nicer ring than lunkfest.
You know, you're a fine boy, Scott. You remind me a lot of myself when I was your age. You know what?
Pass those around, will you?
My
How many
favorite
coffees?
waitress. All around.
Oh, I want... do you have decaf?
No, just calf.
All right.
Just
well,
tell her
all
it's
right.
decaf. She would know the difference.
I would, too. This stuff makes me
You
crazy.
shouldn't be drinking coffee. You should be having milk.
Well, Scott, you don't know our little girl very well, does he, honey? She hates milk. Oh, she can't stand the sight of it.
That's right. She has her own mind when it comes to the milk department. She's more bullheaded than her mother. Oh, Lord help the man that ends up marrying her.
Honey.
Well.
How are you feeling? Scotch.
Oh, Debbie, honey, I was only kidding. You're not near as bullheaded as your mother. Come on.
Don't cry, Pumpkin. It's okay. They don't know anything.
Don't know what.
Come on, spill the beans. It can't be that big a deal.
I'm pregnant.
Waitress, check, please. Let's go. Everyone out to the car.
When we first came to HawkinsI Falls to search out religion in white America, we just planned to give the subject a quick once-over, like 60 Minutes does.
Joyce.
She's not pregnant. Honey, why did you...
Joyce, I want to discuss this out in the car. Thank you.
But as we started following the footsteps of the faithful down the sidewalk of salvation, we realized that, whoopsie, we'd stepped right into a sticky moral crisis. We needed more film.
I don't want to discuss it anymore.
Where am I going wrong, Binky?
Alfie, let's face facts. Church attendance is down everywhere, except in the South. And our congregation is primarily white middle-class people. They don't have any spiritual problems that I can see. One lousy dollar. They don't need church. And they don't need a Buick. They've already got one. Maybe the raffle was a bad idea, huh?
Well, why don't we just keep the Buick and use it for funerals?
It's yellow.
It's off yellow.
Yeah, it's a gas guzzler. I say sell the darn thing, keep the money. For God's sake, let's get a professional youth director around here. Mrs. Schneider is just not working out. You're closer now.
Get it. Hello?
Hello, Reverend Proofrock. Hal Harrison here, sir.
Oh, yes. Hi, Hal. How are things in the siding business?
I have no idea, sir. I'm not in the siding business. That's Hal Jenkins.
Oh, right. Well, it has been a long time then, Mr. Jackson.
Harrison, sir, and it has been a long time since we've talked. Reverend, we have a teensy bit of a problem here, which I think may need some spiritual guidance.
Is someone dying, Hal?
No, sir, no one's dying, just the opposite, actually.
Is she married?
No, sir, she's not married.
Well, we did have plans for later in the day.
Water skiing.
Can you make it right now?
We couldn't be there that soon. Give us at least 20 minutes.
Fine, Hal. Thank you for calling.
Thank you, Reverend, and God bless you. Well, that's it. He'll see us.
Oh, great. Okay, kids, quick, go change your clothes. We're going back to church.
Come on, hurry. You should put on something new, too, hon. I don't want to just have a dress.
Reverend Proofrock has been helping people like the Harrisons since 1967. He first felt God calling him to change the world while in the Peace Corps, teaching Bible stories, table manners, and ping pong to the natives of Uganda. He's there whenever a special word is needed.
Hello, boys. I'm going to tell you a little story now. It's from the Bible. I like to call this the story of David and Goliath, but for today's purposes, why don't we call it the Buccaneers versus Joe Louis Vocational?
Reverend Proofrock, if a team is losing 73-0 at halftime, is there a way we could forfeit the game so no one else... Did you say forfeit? We got 6 black guys and a Samoan on their team. We're no match.
Jesus Christ.
Reverend Proofrock, may I?
Of course.
We all know the story of David and Goliath. You told it to us 2 weeks ago, and we still lost.
Ah, fine. Well, then, let me recite for you a poem I wrote, especially for this occasion. Let's give Jesus Christ the football. Let him even up the score. Let him run it through the crossbars, half of which he's seen before.
Amen, amen, amen. All right, thank you very much, Padre. All right, you guys, let's go out there now. I want you to go out there. I want you guys to just go for the groin, all right? Just, it's the only chance we've got, believe me, all right? Not your own, Harrison. I want you to leave that thing alone. It'll stunt your growth, kiddo. Carry you out for the second half. Let's go, go, go. Come on, get out there, go. All right.
Have fun and play fair.
Of course, Reverend Prufrock couldn't allow our cameras to intrude on his very private conversation with the Harrisons. There are still some things too personal for television.
That's what these are for. Yeah, you might want to take a look at these. They can sometimes help you right through the tough spots.
What do I owe you for these?
Oh, on the house.
Really?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I can't thank you enough,
My
Robert.
payment is the fact that you decided to come and see us.
All right, we've taken up enough of their time.
Oh, not at all.
Thanks
Goodbye.
again.
But from the looks on these people's faces, it appears the Reverend has calmed the troubled waters.
I'm not wearing panties.
I know.
Bye.
My fault. My fault. This whole catastrophe is my fault. You know, I have to laugh, Joyce. I spend every waking hour of my life busting my keister to put a roof over our heads, and it comes down to this. It's my fault because I'm a bad role model.
That's not what I said.
Those were your exact words. And let me remind you, St. Joyce, you were not exactly gun-shy in the back seat of my Plymouth before we got married. I remember all that begging.
Begging? I did not do any begging. You were the one who did all the begging.
Well, someone was begging.
Hal, I am saying to you that you called Scott a member of the family to his face.
Oh, no, never to his face.
You did too,
No,
Hal Harrison.
no,
many,
no.
many times.
No.
Yes, you did.
No, I
You
didn't.
most certainly did. A member of the family.
Well, right now, as far as I'm concerned, he is a member of the Manson family.
Hal, you don't think they did it right here in this house, do you?
In this house? Well, I don't see when.
How about the weekend we went to your mother's?
Bingo!
You don't think they did it on our bed, do you?
Oh, double bingo!
On my grandmother's quilt? Oh, God, I hope there's a God.
Well, if there is, I'll tell you one thing. Reverend Prufrock sure as hell doesn't know him. We spent an hour and a half eating day-old potato chips with him and his Budinsky wife, and all we came away with is a bunch of pamphlets with pictures of storks in them.
We're gonna have to work this out with the man upstairs. By ourselves, you and Debbie and I.
Where's the little tramp?
She's upstairs in her room doing her homework.
Homework? I'll give her homework. You tell her to run down those stairs as fast as she can. We gotta talk to her.
Debbie? Debbie, I want you to run down those stairs just as fast as you can. Your father wants to talk to you.
Christ, if I hadn't begged, we never would have done anything.
Doesn't it worry you when the Pope kisses the ground every time the plane lands? Well, point in fact, do his lips actually touch the ground?
I really can't answer that.
I certainly hope not. You could get as sick as a dog, and
Yeah.
you know how filthy it is there.
May I change the subject from filth, gentlemen, to a more pleasant one, perhaps? These chicken sausages we're blessed with today are full of koyach. They are tasty, they're nutritious, and a little metzia. They're not too filling. I dig in.
Bon appetit.
Let's have a grace.
Well, you know, I think since Sid has already started, Grace is kind of a moot point.
I'm afraid I must insist on a grace.
God, these are good.
Amen. Thank you, Sid. Nicely put.
What you're witnessing is a weekly event here in Hawkins Falls. A chance for the righteous of all faiths to come together. A chance for these people with differing viewpoints to open their minds, study the menu, and choose an entree. Today, the special is sausages, chicken sausages, I believe, and cheese souffle. Just perhaps that cheese could be the glue that holds the spiritual life of this community together for yet another week. No subject is taboo here, not for these soul-cleansing get-togethers.
So, I hear from a couple of the women in the Hadassah that the Harrison girl is knocked up.
That is unfortunately correct, yes.
This was not the work of the Epstein kid?
No.
It wasn't the O'Brien boy, was it?
No. I heard it was Scott Mount.
From whom did you hear it?
I heard it from Scott Mount. The Methodist. Sorry, Scott Mount.
Well, Debby Harrison, isn't she of the Baptist faith?
No, Debbie is of our parish.
I'm sorry, Alfie.
Gentlemen, may I suggest we are blessed today with the presence of a very fine, young Israeli-style wine? It's very sweet. Let's enjoy.
You don't have to ask me twice.
May I?
A bouquet like sugar.
You like cars?
Yes.
Do you?
Well, listen, unless I'm very much mistaken, Mr. Mullins.
It's Mull.
Mr. Mull.
Mull.
This car is just the perfect transportation vehicle for you. It's a marriage made in heaven, you
Well,
might
no,
say.
actually, I'm all set in the car department. I have got a BMW back in California that I'm crazy about.
German-made car.
Oh, yeah, they make the best cars.
And yet you were born here in the United States.
That's right.
Just trying to help.
Yeah, I'm sure you are. And you could help, Reverend, right over here, if you would. Reverend Prufrock, how's it going with the Harrison family crisis?
Well, I've been praying on it, and I've given them our last pamphlet, and I'm afraid now it's in God's hands.
And that's it?
Well, I'm not a miracle worker, Mr. Mull. I can't go back in time and pull the boy off of her, can I? I wish I could.
Well, I think we all wish that, don't we? But Reverend Prufrock, more to the point, as one of HawkinsI Falls' leading clergy, where the hell are you going?
Answer me something. Can your BMW do this?
You know, Hal, this is the 20th century, and I think you realize that. You've got a couple of options open to you. Debbie doesn't have to keep that baby.
I don't follow you.
Well, I'm talking about the two big A's. In this case, number one, adoption. I mean, have you considered adoption for Debbie?
What family would be interested? I mean, she's 16 now. She's pregnant. I don't think so.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. So I'm not even going to suggest the other.
Now, wait a minute. I'm up to here in suggestions. I don't need any more advice. With all due respect to you, Mr. Mull, you finish up your film,
right.
You hightail it back to Hollywood and work on your tan. I'm stuck sitting here looking at little Miss I'm just a girl who can't say no and trying to think up names for the next 8 months.
She's bald?
I don't like it. He'd take too much kidding in school. Besides, what if he's a girl?
I understand. You know, Hal, in this case, I really feel for you. And I feel for Debbie, too.
Might as well. Everyone else is.
Hal, I'm being serious now. I'm your friend.
I know. Seriously, Joyce is the one you should feel for. She's about to step off the edge, if you ask me.
Really? In what way?
Oh, it's this whole religion thing, Mr. Mull. I'm worried about her. Are you a religious man?
You know, in my own...
You know what she's telling me now? That angels are coming into her bedroom in the middle of the night. And they sit around and have long talks about life and death and Debbie.
And you don't see them?
Hell, when I go out, you could drive a truck through a wall, let alone an angel. But I don't know what's next. What's it gonna be? Packing her bags for India? Blowing up a Howard Johnson? I mean, I love God as much as the next man.
To God, huh?
To God. He's one of the greatest.
Great man.
The finest. They talk about Stan Musial, but God is the tops.
Been around for a while, hasn't he?
Long time. But Jesus... Mr. Mull, I don't know what the heck I would do if I had to lose Joyce to the Moonies or something.
Hal, I think I've got a solution to all of our problems. I see it as sort of like Donahue without the fat ladies. We'd start tight on me coming into the room. Follow me, follow me, follow me. Then, tight shot of you, tight shot of Joyce, quick cut to the others, and then back to me for most of the rest of it. Listen, thank you all very much for coming on such short notice, and... Where's Debbie?
I think she's signing up for Lamaze. I should be with her.
You, young man, should be in the Coast Guard.
Now, you promised you'd be civil.
Don't start, Joyce. Just don't start. Do us all a favor and do not start.
If I may, please, the Reverend and I have been praying and thinking and praying about your situation, and we think we may have something to offer.
What are you gonna do? Give him that Buick that you couldn't raffle off?
Tommy, please, we are trying to settle a very serious problem.
We don't need Meshuggah in the comments, young man.
As a matter of fact, Mrs. Prufrock and I were planning to donate the Buick to the young people.
So they can leave town with dignity.
Well, that is very, very thoughtful and very Christian. And I think also we should get started here, Debbie or no Debbie. Hal, are you willing to open up your heart and forgive Debbie and Scott for their transgressions and accept them into your household as a threesome?
All right, look, my daughter is my daughter, and she always will be my daughter, okay? All right, but if you're talking about this little scumbag who came parading into my own home like some preening peacock and proceeded to pour half a bottle of Jack Daniels down my little girl's throat and then made her perform acts I am too much of a gentleman to even mention in the presence of men of the cloth. Things I don't even get to do with my own wife, for Christ's sake, and on her grandmother's quilt.
We moved the quilt.
What?
It was too itchy.
Itchy? I'll give you itchy.
Hal,
come here.
This kind of behavior never solved anything. Hal, please, you are a Christian. You're a Christian.
Guess what, everybody? Guess what I'm not?
A virgin?
This is true.
I'm not pregnant. Oh,
Are you sure?
It was Debbie Harris, not Debbie Harrison. They got the records mixed up. But that's okay. She's marrying the Epstein boy.
Debbie Epstein?
Oy vey. I must call Mrs. Nussbaum immediately.
Listen, if we leave right now, I believe we can get a half-day rate on the room. Come on,
I like
everyone.
your style, Sid. I always have. Welcome back to the family, son.
Well, I guess that's kind of a miracle, eh, Padre?
Yes, I'd say so. And so is coming back from a 73-0 halftime deficit to whip Joe Louis Vocational by 1 point.
Thanks very much, but it really wasn't a miracle. It was strictly medical. It was groin injuries, I've told you.
But who gave you the idea? How'd that idea get in your head? Walk there, huh?
Charles Darwin, okay?
Darwin?
Yeah,
No,
start
Coach,
her.
I have some pamphlets for you. Just give me
You'll
a
be
second.
sorry you wound her up.
It has been a week of miracles here in Hawkins Falls. A miracle that Debby Harrison no longer has to face a life of shame and degradation in possible twins. A miracle that Scott now found his true calling in the Coast Guard. And I think we all sleep a lot better knowing that he's guarding Lake Erie. The Fighting Buccaneers football team made every Hawkins Fallsian proud with their 1-9 season. That's a miracle. And miracle of miracles, this church is full on a non-holiday. Bless you, every one of you. Whoa! Almost forgot, if you're interested in a car that drives like a miracle, the Reverend here still has a next to new Buick to give away, so hold on to those ticket stubs. I know I'm holding on to mine. Brett, thank you. So long, and good luck. Well, no wonder it's so damn popular. Some show, huh? Oral Roberts has nothing on the Harrisons when it comes to divine intervention. You know, we thought for a while there that we had a whole series on our hands, starting with the quickie out-of-town wedding, then the baby arriving, Scott's drinking problem, but no such luck. Unfortunately, you just can't make these people's lives any more screwed up than they already are. So what's next? Okay. We now turn our attention to the subject of white stress. Same family, same middle-class scenario, different life-threatening crisis. So now, brace yourself for a filmic portrait of white stress. But what is stress? How do you spot it? Sure, it's easy enough to spot in yourself as you're being wheeled in for open heart surgery. But by then, it can be too late. You'll be fine. They almost never lose 2 in a row. But more to the point, how do you spot stress in others? And how do you put it on television in a way that's entertaining and informative so that people don't turn that dial and watch Who's the Boss? That was our problem. And here's our approach. Follow one man through a typical week of his life and hope that he falls apart. That man, chosen completely at random, was Hal Harrison.
We wish you a happy Father's Day. We wish you a happy Father's Day. We wish you a happy Father's Day. And a happy
Father's Day. Honey, rise and shine. It's Father's Day. And your kids wanted to say Happy Father's Day.
What the hell time is it anyway?
Ooh, gosh, it's almost 7.
Oh.
The sprinkler got the first 2 sections, but I think the sports is still dry. Happy Father's Day, Dad. I gotta go.
Thanks, Tommy.
Honey, I want you to know he was up at 5:30 in the morning getting that paper.
Then he should have turned off the sprinkler.
Dad, I don't have anything for you because I've been really busy lately not eating. Because I really want to be a model. But I'll try to stop by at 7-Eleven and get you a card later.
Okay.
If Scott is willing to stop.
Okay.
We might be late. We have to go see his father.
Okay.
Bye, Daddy.
Honey, I made some coffee and it's in the kitchen, okay? Oh, and darling, you know, I really think that you should spend more time with the children because these are the special years and they're going to go by so quickly.
I know, Joyce. I would love to. You know how much I love my family, including you. But I've been under so darn much pressure lately.
Oh, I know, honey. You and every other Tom, Dick, and Harry. Listen, I'm going to go and call my dad before the rates go up, okay? Oh, it would be so sweet if you would say hi to him.
Oh, why don't you say hi to him for me? You know, every time we start talking, he brings up Eisenhower again, and we're never going to agree. Well, go on, fix some coffee. I'll be right up.
I don't know, Daddy. He's just not the same man I married. No, he's tense all the time. He's always snapping at me and the kids for no apparent reason. No, Daddy, I don't think it has anything to do with Eisenhower. No. No, he's just... No, he's just... Ooh, he just walked out the room. Okay. Hi, honey. It's Daddy. He says to say hello. He said, Happy Father's Day. Yeah. Okay, listen, Daddy, I'll call you on your birthday, okay? Okay, honey, bye. Honey, let me get you your coffee.
Well, did he bring up Eisenhower?
No, he didn't. He only mentioned Kennedy, and you both like him.
Well, that's a breakthrough.
Here, honey. And you want a little sweet roll? Ooh, they're very, very, very good.
Joyce, what do you weigh these days?
I don't know why.
Forget it. I'm sorry I brought it up, okay?
I mean, I may have gained a few pounds, but you know I'm not 18 anymore. I didn't think it showed.
Look, it's really no big deal. I just kind of wish you wouldn't wear stretch pants when I'm around.
Wait a minute. Just hold your horses a minute here, Mr. Hal Harrison. I mean, I know that you're not feeling yourself.
I am so.
No, you're not either. You are grouchy and snappy and moody.
Look, as long as we're naming the 7 dwarfs, don't forget Pudgy.
Look, I can't help it if I have a father who has a heart condition and a daughter who will not eat and a son who's seen Rambo 12 times and a husband who mopes around the house like, what's his name on Dynasty. If I want to take a few minutes out for myself to have some Hershey's Kisses during General Hospital, I think that's my business, and you know, I don't need you or anybody else to tell me I'm pudgy.
I did not say you were pudgy.
You did too. Those were your exact words.
I did not.
Yes, you did.
Wait a minute, where are you going?
I'm going jogging.
What the hell got into her? Joyce, I can't. We'll talk about it when I get home. I'm late for work and I got a meeting with Potter. Jeez, that woman.
Well, lucky us.
Hal Harrison is definitely cruising for a breakdown, and we're getting it all on film. Things are obviously pretty tense on the home front, but what about the work arena? Let's find out.
Hal, how long have I known you?
14 years, sir.
Well, it's 13 by my count. And for 12 of those years, you've been working here.
Harder than ever thought I would work, sir.
Not hard enough, Harrison. According to your accounts receivable, we got ourselves a problem here. You have got to learn to relax, take more time off, and work harder.
How do I do that, sir?
That's your problem, Hal. One of many. Mind you, I'm just blue-skying here, but I think the answer lies somewhere between tennis and working through lunch.
Well, now let me say I have been working through my lunch hours, Mr. Potter.
Well, you can't do that on a regular basis, Harrison.
No, of course not.
Your body needs fuel if you're going to be any good to me at all. Or any good at tennis.
Yes, yes. But I wish you to understand that I have been under a great deal of stress lately.
You and every other Tom, Dick, and Harry. Look, you can't spend your whole life in the on-deck circle. Sooner or later, you're going to have to quit your belly aching, step up to the batter's box, and swing at one. You understand baseball, Harrison?
Yes, sir.
Good. Now, let's recap. We've decided that you're going to work much harder.
Yes.
Have more fun on your downtime. And, if I might add, try to lose a few pounds. Those shirt buttons are pulling in a way this company can't tolerate.
Yes,
Try jogging.
I used to jog, but I just don't have the time anymore. I don't know. Maybe I do take it too seriously here. But I can take it more seriously, too. I think I know what you mean. There's a fine balance, sir.
A person can live under a certain amount of stress. We all do, every day. Hal is no different. But there comes a point where stress takes over and says, hey, I'm in charge now and you're not. Hal Harrison has reached that point.
Sharp in the bedroom. Just out the 5 points. Back left, go all the way up to the turnpike bypass.
Honey, my gosh. Hal? Hal? Oh! Honey, are you all right? Honey! Honey! Hal! Hal!
I don't know. He's just never been like this before, Mr. Mull. Maybe it's all the filming or something.
No. It's not the filming. It's more than that. That's why we're filming again.
Well, we've got to do something about it because he just can't go on like this.
Right.
Mom,
Yeah, honey.
Dad just called me Grandpa.
Oh, honey, I'm sure he was kidding.
Oh, Mom, I think Dad just wet the chair.
Oh, boy.
Honey. Oh, no, this is what I'm talking about. This cannot go on. We have got to do something.
Well, first of all, I'd keep him off liquids, and second of all, I guess if you have something plastic you could put under him, like maybe a hefty bag or your shower curtain, or do you have a boat cover? Huh? And Mrs. H, could that's fine. Could I talk to you privately for just a second? Does Hal have like a confidant or someone he can really open up to, other than yourself, of course?
Yes, there is someone.
Good. Now, how does this person look on film?
Smitty hopefully back here in about 6 big ones. Of course, you know.
We winning or losing, Coach.
You want to tell me who in the hell you are?
Hal Harrison, class of '61.
Oh, Tommy Harrison's dad, right?
Exactly, yes.
I know why you're here, and I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do about it. I can't, in good conscience, put that kid out on the field in a real game.
No,
listen to me. Not only is he slow, small, and hasn't learned the plays.
Certainly, yeah.
But we've only got helmets for the first 3 strings or so. And, you don't want him out there bareheaded against some of the palookas we play.
No, I understand. Actually, it's not about Tommy. It's about myself.
Yourself?
Yes. Well, a long time ago, when I was a senior here, you told us to feel free to come to you with any problem, anytime.
Yeah, and I kind of meant, over the summer, Harrison, before college.
Well, if you could make an exception, it would help me out a lot, Coach. I am really in trouble.
Trouble, huh?
Yes, sir.
Capital T.
I might say, yeah.
You know I always have time for kids in trouble.
Yes,
I want
sir.
you to sit down here, Harris. What's the problem?
Life, sir.
Life.
I've made a shambles of it, you might say.
The going got tough, and you didn't exactly get going, huh?
Yeah, I guess so.
All right, Harrison. How are you in the courage, guts, and determination department?
On a scale of like 1 to 10?
Any way you want to do it.
A 1, 2, possible 3.
The way I see it, you're at the halftime of life. You have exactly 3 choices. Number 1, you can just be a weenie and quit the team.
Yeah.
Number 2, you can just sit right here on the bench the rest of your life, like you did for 4 years with me, as I recall. And number 3, you can tighten up that jockstrap, young man. Go out there and give him hell. Give him everything you got until the big guy upstairs blows the whistle and it's time for that final golden shower.
Now, my wife suggested therapy.
Oh, horse shit, Harrison. Expensive horse shit. Nothing wrong with you that a few extra laps around the field won't cure. Run it off. That's what I say. Run it off.
Run it off, that's it?
Not quite. Let's just take a moment now and check in with the head coach upstairs. Yeah. All right. All right. All right. I want you to go out there now, Harrison. I want you to give him hell, son. All right? Hey, remember, Harrison, you are a Buccaneer.
Yes, sir.
Hal Harrison has hit rock bottom, speaking professionally. His is a problem shared by millions of white American men. He had an image of his life he had thought would come true, and it just flat-ass didn't.
Here it is, Mr. Harrison. Right in the hole.
Well, what do you know? That's the 3rd hole-in-one in a row.
Gee, Mr. Harrison, if you keep on making tee shots like that, we'll never get to see your pets.
Don't be so sure about that.
Where do we go now?
On to hole number 4, of course.
But don't you have to go to work?
Hell no, work is for guys like Vern Potter.
Step up to the batter's box and swing at one.
Mr. Harrison, can I sleep with you tonight?
No. It's my turn.
Wait.
No, it's my turn.
It's mine.
Girls, Karen, Kimberly, be ashamed of yourself. We'll work it out. We always do, don't we? Hole in the hole, and hell goes in the cart. Come on, girls. Who's gonna drive? I'm the seat. Whoops, you sit right here. Oh! Watch for bins.
Hal's image of his life never materialized, and yet he couldn't let it go. The result? A busload of stress. The kind of stress that can lead a white man to an early grave.
And no one wants that. Hal had only 2 choices. Spend his remaining days in La La Land, or spend his life savings on some kind of therapy. Now for Hal, spending the rest of his life as a good-natured rutabaga had a certain appeal. Joyce, however, felt the only hope lay in therapy, and she found a lay therapist.
Every fucking day it's the same thing. The same job, the same boss, the same wife, the same kids, the same car, the same garage.
The same you, Hal?
Yeah, the same me who can't hit a golf ball without slicing it into the trees. The same me who has to beg his wife for 6 months for you know what.
Hell, there are other people here.
It's okay. Go with the flow.
Oh, well, thank you, Mr. Jackson, but I think my husband's done flowing.
Oh, it's easy enough for you to say that, Bill. Jesus, you have no idea what it's like to be in my skin. You don't have to listen to her incessant harping or hear their stupid problems all the time. You don't have Vern Potter for a boss. Jesus, man, you don't know what real slavery is. Look, your people just seem to get up in the morning and enjoy life. You go out and disco dance and you slap hands and you eat ribs and you screw constantly. Oh, Jesus. You don't know what it's like to hate life like I do.
Hal, you are absolutely right, but you're shouting!
Shouting?
How do you respond to that, Mr. Jackson?
Well, our white brother over here apparently has a low opinion of himself, his wife, and kids, and thinks all we do is dance around like buckwheat all day. I think the motherfucker is going to kill himself, and probably should.
I'm sensing anger.
Doctor, my husband is absolutely right. Let's go, honey. Let's go watch a Ben Vereen movie and shoot heroin.
Hey, they must have cable. There's no Ben Vereen movie on regular TV.
Hey, wait a minute. Where does that leave me? Do I have to pay for 2 families now? We're just 10 minutes into this thing.
Hal, money is not an issue when your mental health is at stake.
Oh, horseshit, my friend. Money is always an issue. And you big noses know it better than anybody. Jesus, will someone give me a break? All I'm asking is someone give me one damn break.
Hal,
Ah!
I want you to look at that empty chair and think of it as your father.
Oh, Hal's not very good at picturing things. May we do something else, please?
Yeah, like leave.
The first session is always difficult, but let's call it an icebreaker. It's a chance for all that venom and hatred to come spewing forth and to get to know your doctor as something other than a Jew in a suit. Now, sometimes results can be achieved very quickly, and the patient begins to gain a new perspective on his troubled life.
Okay, Hal. You're late for an important business dinner, and your car throws a tie rod on the turnpike. How do you respond?
You know, that is so funny that you would mention that. It's amazing because that exact same thing happened last night, didn't it, honey? Hal was wonderful about it. He walked the 2 miles to the phone. He called AAA, he dialed the number correctly right off the bat, and then he jogged back to the car, and then he sat quietly reading maps while waiting for the truck to arrive. And he didn't once say the F word or the S word.
Good. And how's your tennis, Hal?
Well, there you go again. I mean, I'm so proud of my little hubby. This morning, for instance, he had a game with his boss, Vern Potter.
Well, I know Vern. He's one of mine.
Oh, well, anyway, he lost 6-0, 6-0, 6-0. He didn't cry. He didn't throw the racket. And he insisted on buying the beers. Of course, he didn't drink his because he didn't want to be a menace on the road.
Wow. It looks like someone I know is crossing the finish line. Congratulations, Hal. I think we're ready to settle up here.
Settle up? Settle what up?
Well, as you know, I've been letting your therapy fees slide for 2 days now so as not to upset you. But now that you're well, and we're all pretty happy about that, you owe me $3,000.
$3,000? $3,000? For what? What, do we break something?
You know, all I've seen you do for the last 4 hours is sit there and nod your head and say, I see and I understand. While my wife and kids have told you stories about myself I wouldn't tell to an army buddy. Jesus, how do you get a job like this? You're supposed to be treating me for stress and you hit me with a bill for $3 friggin' grand? Well, I'll tell you something, Mr. Marblestein or Stein or Berg or whatever the hell it is. You're the one who ought to have his head examined. And,
Honey?
Hal?
Oh! Debbie, go call 911. He's having a heart attack. Honey! Oh my gosh. Oh, we've got to give the artificial insemination. Wait a minute. Open his collar.
Well, breathe in, breathe in.
Honey.
Good. Isn't the finish line I had in mind. Hal, how do you feel about what's happening now? Breathe. Breathe.
Oh, this is great.
Well, normally we don't allow cameras in here, Mr. Mull, but if you sincerely believe you've got a shot at an Ace Award, I suppose we can bend the rules a little bit, can't we?
Oh, well, I got one in the pocket right now. What can I tell you?
Do you really?
Oh, yeah.
What is an Ace Award?
It's sort of a cross between an Oscar and a hood ornament.
Oh, yeah.
Doctor, how sick is he? How long does he have?
Well, the rest of his life, Mrs. Harrison. Unless I'm missing a page here, I think we overreacted. This wasn't a heart attack. It was an anxiety attack.
Oh, for Pete's
sake. And according to this stomach contents report, which I don't think you want to see, it was triggered by gas. What did you have for dinner last night? According to this, it was cat food?
No, chili. My homemade chili. I make it with salmon. It's one of his very favorites.
Well, there you go. Case closed. You can take him home when you like. And here's a prescription for Rolaids.
Lynne, excuse me, but can't you get Rolaids over the counter?
Oh, you can. They're a lot less expensive that way.
Oh, I see. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Well, Hal cheated death this time. Hey, no need, fellas. False alarm, it was just gas.
Chili with salmon?
You got it. What does a man like Hal Harrison do, knowing that he's a walking time bomb of stress? He monitors himself with one of these. It tells you your heart rate, your blood pressure, your gastric quotient, and most importantly, it measures stress. Should any of these things reach alarming proportions, this little gadget makes a noise like a car being stolen. And best of all, no one will know you're wearing it. Here's how it works. Lauren. Thank you. It affixes to the sternum, right in this area right here, where it remains for as long as it's needed. It's a very tricky operation. Let me show you once more, a little slower and a lot closer.
It's not in here, Daddy.
Well, huh? Is that mine?
No, sweetie, this is mine. See, title is for.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm positive.
Well, sure
Well, look,
is.
let's check the trees over there. Oh, I already did. There's nothing.
No luck, huh? I have a feeling it hooked over to the left someplace.
Oh, honey, well, let's check the lake.
Alrighty.
Well, how do you check a lake?
Oh, look, let's forget about it. I don't want the old beeper going off. I'll just drop a fresh one here and we'll take the penalty stroke.
Honey, that's the spirit.
Well, it doesn't make a darn bit of difference. I'm already 19 for the first 3 holes. All right, quiet, everyone. Ellie. Oh. Damn it, who moved?
Honey, now calm down. Now look.
Oh.
Oh, honey, please. Okay, do your relaxation exercises.
Are you happy now?
No, listen to me. Ocean sounds. Think of ocean sounds.
I'm thinking of the damn ocean.
Honey.
Hey, quit your belly aching, fellas. I'm triple bogey here in the boneyard. You don't hear my beeper going off. So long, everybody. Spinal Tap's Derek Black, 6 letters. Who in the hell would know that? Well, another winner, huh? I can't believe we found so much good stuff in one small, anonymous American suburb. Makes you wonder why there aren't more shows like this. Well, there are. 2 more. You have now reached the halfway point. It's a good time to maybe shut down the machine for a minute and rest your eyes. Don't worry, I'll wait. Schwartz? Oh, you're back. Good. I was getting a little worried. Now we turn our attention to white politics. I know you're sick and tired of politics, and who isn't? Still, when Hal Harrison decided to run for political office, well, we couldn't just sit on our hands, could we?
Well, there it is, Hal. There's your problem. That has been choking up your trap. You know, even your Drano will not eat through a stretch sack. Mercy, mercy. No, there's too much plastic in there. Gotta keep that in mind. But I'll bet you're glad to get your sock back, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
That looks like about a $2 item to
You
me.
bet.
That is, if you still got the other sock.
Oh, well, he definitely does.
Well, I can't thank you enough. What are the damages, Dad?
Well, let's see. Carry the $245. Well, it would have been $280 if I have to clean up.
Yeah, okay.
And incidentally, that was just for the labor. I didn't charge you for parts.
Okay.
Because I didn't use any parts.
No, fair is fair. Will you take a check?
Of course. You know what father wouldn't take a check from his own son? At least if it bounces, I'll know where to find it.
Well, now, Dad, is that what made the water just, look like root beer and taste so yucky?
No, Pumpkin, that's just commonary Hawkins Falls water, pure and simple. It won't kill you. You just gotta learn to live with it. And if you can't learn to live with it, just run for water commissioner.
What would a job like that pay, Dad?
Better than that job you got.
Hello there, I'm Martin Mull, and once again we're here in Hawkins Falls, Ohio to continue our picking, probing, and poking into the world of the white American. And once again, we've chosen the Harrisons as our target family. Now, what you've just seen may appear to be a simple lesson in plumbing passed on from father to son, and yes, that's true. But these rusty waters run a lot deeper. Face to face with a crying need for liquid reform, these civic-minded citizens are about to dive into a very exciting new world, the world of politics. So, come on in. The water's terrible.
It's a big step, Harrison. Not one that I would take, personally.
Well, I realize that, sir, but, you know, when your country calls...
Harrison, this isn't exactly your Pearl Harbor, for God's sakes. I don't hear any zeros buzzing around upstairs. This is just rusty water.
Well, I realize that also, sir, but you know, the way I look at it, today it's the water, tomorrow it can be,
And, to be frank with you, Harrison, Hendricks has been plowing some pretty exciting turf on that Q-tip account. Now, I can't promise you that your job will be waiting for you after you lose this ridiculous election.
All right, you've been fully frank with me, sir. I would like to be equally frank with you, if I may.
It's always been our policy, Harrison.
The way I look at it, this is a once-in-a-lifetime deal with me, and I fully expect to win. However, if you happen to be right, and you usually are, sir, you know that, and I do fuck up, I am going to need this job back.
Fair enough. If you can use dirty words, then I can too. Politics is crap. Doo-doo, meadow muffins, road apples, shit.
And so is Hendricks, sir, if I may say so. I mean, anybody with dirty ears can sell Q-tips.
Feel better getting that off your chest, Harrison?
Yes, sir, I do.
Good luck, boy. You'll need it.
Thank you, sir. Wish me luck.
I just did.
Good, because I'm going to need it.
If Hal Harrison is going to realize his dream of doing something about the Hawkins Falls water supply, it's going to take time, a lot of money, and enormous support. And the most crucial support of all, of course, must come from the candidate's own family.
It's insane, Hal. Absolutely insane. You're telling me you quit your job because of the tap water? It's just a little rust. We need iron in our diet.
Dad, just go into Mr. Potter's office tomorrow morning, tell him you had a fever, and beg for your job back, please.
That's right. You've done it before dozens of times. You can do it again.
Can't we just use bottled water and forget the whole thing?
No, we cannot, Tom Harrison. To begin with, how are we going to take a shower with bottled water? Answer me that, please. Secondly, or B, that would be giving up, and a Harrison does not give up. As a perfect example, even in the very worst of times, which this may well be, I've stayed married to your mother, bless her heart.
I love you like a husband, Hal Harrison. I have to. But you're acting like a complete and total stranger. I mean, you've quit your job and you're yelling like a madman in front of the children and you're letting your burger get cold.
Dad, you're gonna have to run against Hal Adams. Isn't he like your best friend in the whole wide world?
This is more important than friendship, Debbie. And Joyce, I have a question for you, and all of you try to follow me here. Are these supposed to be scalloped potatoes next to my burger?
Yes, honey, that's what you asked for.
All right, then why do they taste like tin foil?
Because she cooked them in tin foil.
No, you're not following me. It's the water. The water, the water, the water. W-A-T-E-R spells water.
I didn't use water.
She used milk.
That's exactly my point. You can't use the water. I rest my case. Who's ready for seconds?
Hal Harrison has enough conviction to run for president, if not pope. But with both his boss and his family turning a deaf ear, he knows he has to find someone who knows the ropes. Someone who's been there and back. Someone who has the savvy and reputation to take on a major political campaign. He needs someone really special. That's when the yellow pages come in handy.
Here we are.
Thank you.
Now, would either of you handsome gentlemen like coffee?
Ah, yes.
I'll tell you what, do you have a booth where no one can overhear us?
Yes, but I have to check to see if it's all right.
Okay, thank you, doll. Appreciate it. So, how'd you find out about me?
How'd I find out about you? Through the yellow pages.
Under what name?
Dick Smithers.
Dick Smith?
No, I believe, Smithers. Here we go. Dick Smithers, political consultant. What I did for Kennedy, I can do for you.
Oh, yes, I remember.
Which Kennedy did you work for?
Well,
Follow me, hon.
Thank you. Now we're
Not a moment too soon, huh?
So you are Hank?
Hal Harrison.
Hal, what's that short for?
Actually, it's short for Gerald with a G.
Oh, well, and it should be Gal, not Hal.
Sure it should. I guess that's why we came up with Hal.
I see, yeah.
You know, I've been coming to this restaurant for 20 years. I've never been back this far.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that. The fruit cocktail comes in cans.
I know the people here. We'll get menus.
Go ahead.
Hal, have you ever run for anything in your life before?
Student council treasurer, 10th grade, Bob Feller High, right here in Hawkins Falls.
That's great. How'd you do?
How'd I do?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you got to understand there were 26 of us running for the darn thing, and I was only a sophomore, and the guy who eventually won had a bad leg. And...
Hal, let's cut to the chase. Politics is for adults, grown-ups, people over 21, big boys. Do you hear me?
Loud and clear, yes.
All right. Politics can be nasty. It's exhausting. It's very demanding. It's extremely expensive, starting with me. Are you sure you want to do this?
Dick, you know something? I get surer and surer every time I turn on that tap and out comes water that looks like root beer.
All right, save it for the 6 o'clock news. Hal, I'm going to need $7,000 and a place to stay.
$7,000?
That's correct.
Where am I going to come up with $7,000?
Hal, do you own your own home?
Well, in a way, yeah. I mean, we're still making payments. Haven't missed one in 9 years.
That's great. All right, call this gentleman. He'll draw up the papers. You'll have all the money I need.
Mr. Smithers, I cannot thank you enough, sir.
Please don't. Next, I'm going to need to know every piece of dirt on you. Who you've been sleeping with, who's the real father of your children, and why you hate that slimeball Hal Adams.
Well, now, hold on here. I don't hate Hal Adams. As a matter of fact, he's my best friend in the whole world. Wait a minute. I just want to clean up the water here in Hawkins Falls.
Al. You're talking to Dick Smithers. You got to level with me. If I'm going to lie for you, I've got to know the truth. Honey, can we get some pie?
Well, it looks like Hal Harrison is off to the races. But it's not a shoo-in, not hardly. America is founded on the two-party system, and that means he'll be racing against someone. In this case, he'll be racing against his ex-best friend in the entire wide world, the incumbent, Hal Adams.
Darling, Hal is my best friend in the whole wide world, you know. And on top of that, he's right. The water is awful. And I'd just rather resign before I lose.
Well, where does that leave me, Mr. Ex-Water Commissioner? Huh? You remember me. I'm the one who stood behind you during all those boring election night rallies with you yammering on and on and on. I'm the one the newspapers dubbed the full-figured Jackie Kennedy. I'm the one who gave you the dream of the governorship so we could get out of this fucking Duckburg in something other than our Pontiac.
Darling, it almost sounds as if you would leave me if I weren't the water commissioner.
Bullseye.
The majestic Hawkins Falls, where gravity plus water equals breathtaking beauty. And me, I'm here next to the Hawkins Falls catch basin. It too is beautiful, but perhaps deceptively so. Let's check it out for ourselves. Whoa! Now this rust color could come from untapped iron ore deposits right here in the Tri-County area. As for the root beer taste, that comes from man-made chemicals, just like in real root beer.
This is just my way of saying I'm behind you 150%, Hal. And we both know it's not my fault.
Of course not, Mr. Purvis. How the heck could it be? You're not making root beer here, for crying out loud. You're making drain cleaner and mouthwash and fertilizer. Things we need here in Hawkins Falls. God bless you, sir.
You know how, in a way, we see our waste dumping as a public service. Why, there's nothing worse than going for a dip in the Hawkins River and have those pesky crabs biting at your toes. You notice they haven't been around for the last 4 years? The crabs, tree slugs, butterflies, all of them.
I understand what you mean, Mr. Purvis. You know, sir, if there were more people like you, I wouldn't have to run for office.
Well, you're going to have to run from this one now. I've got an appointment waiting.
I understand. Thanks again, sir.
Adam, sit down. Got good news. The fertilizer stock just split, and the mouthwash is going national. I'm prepared to give you twice as much as last time.
Let me just ask you one thing. Is Harrison been here?
Here and gone.
And how much did you give him?
$200, and he was glad to get it. He won't be a problem.
What you've just seen may have burst a bubble or two for some of the more naive of you in our audience. What do I mean by naive? Well, any of you out there who still believe there are such things as duly elected officials, meaningful international borders, or a safe nuclear power plant. Meanwhile, what really makes this country tick is grassroots campaigning just like this.
Hello, Mrs. Campbell. All right. Is your mother in? Is your father in? All right. When they get in, would you tell them that Hal Harrison called and just ask them to remember me when it comes time to vote? Hal Harrison. Remember we... All right, you don't have to write it down. If you could just remember, Hal Harrison. Yeah, I'm running for water commissioner. And if you tell your mother, water commissioner. Okay, when will your folks be in? Okay, I'll give them a call back a little later. Tell them Hal Harrison called. Okay.
Give him.
Hi there, what's your name, fella?
Trevor.
Trevor, hi, how are you? Think of me when it comes time to vote for water commissioner.
Give him Hal.
Get that, how about it
Give him.
Water commissioner next month. He knows how important clean water is, and you do too, don't you, Mom? Vote for me, Hal Harrison. What? Someone out there watching for more parents? Okay. They know I'm down here. They're advertising. Okay.
Coming up, part 5 of Stan Seigel's fascinating series, River Rafting for Weekenders. Where does he get that assignment? And Bill's got a heartwarming follow-up report on that German shepherd still waiting for a liver transplant. All that and much, much more when we come back. It is Seigel, isn't it?
Water. Water.
Mommy,
I need water.
Daddy on TV.
We all need water.
Here's some water, Mr. Harrison.
Ah.
It looks like a real desert,
What is
doesn't
this? It tastes like rust and looks like root beer.
It's Hawkins Falls water, Mr. Harrison.
Well, I won't drink it, and I won't stand for it either.
He looks cute.
This is the last glass of filthy water that slime ball Hal Adams is going to force down my throat. Vote for me.
Oh, I think this is great. It came out great. Who are those girls? Who are they?
Now that's more like it.
When did we do that? That could have been us. No. I can't believe this.
Dick, I have another Dick on the phone here. Dick Higgins down at Higgins Hardware. And he has what I think is a darn good question. That is how the changeover in a water system is going to affect his...
It has been said that in order to create, one must destroy. Consequently, for Hal Harrison to create cleaner water and perhaps a lucrative political career for himself, something has to go. Unfortunately, it looks like his marriage. Hal is running for water commissioner, but Joyce has decided to run for wife.
Dick, Mr. Smithers seems to have been called away from the phone just momentarily. Why don't you give me your availability now? I appreciate how late it is, and I thank you so much for staying up to talk to me. How does it look for you the rest of this week? All right, now what about the beginning of next week? Yeah. Okay, well, we're now getting towards the election.
So later this week or early next week.
And like any loving wife, she'll do what has to be done to keep her man.
Hal, thank you so much for coming on such short notice. I really appreciate it.
Joyce, what are friends for? We've got about 5 minutes.
Oh, okay, well then I'll talk real fast. Now look, you're both named Hal, you're supposedly best friends, and neither one of you is really a slime ball. I mean, you don't want to lose 20 years of friendship, do you? And I don't want to lose 18 years of marriage. It's not worth it. Come on, please, do us all a favor. Drop out.
Not worth it? Tell it to my wife. My hands are tied. She's in it for the long haul.
But you're going to let 20 years of friendship go down the drain like so much dirty water?
First of all, the water is not as dirty as Hal says. And secondly, yes.
Yes, what?
Yes, I am going to let 20 years of friendship go down the drain. My marriage is more important. Now, I understand you trying to talk me into dropping out. Sure there are no hard feelings? I'm paying for the wine. I insist.
Oh, no.
No,
I
come on.
can't let you do
I
that.
insist.
No.
Now, look.
Oh,
darn.
Here, I'll get it. No,
Hey.
I'm doing it.
This is my wife and my best friend.
Yeah, although it looks a little bit like your wife and her best friend.
Wait a minute, where did you get this?
Somebody dropped it through my mail slot this morning, along with a note that was signed Concerned Citizen.
Well, let's tear this thing up right now.
Harrison, you amateur, don't you realize there are probably 15 of these floating around town right now?
Oh, good Lord. How do we fight something like this?
Well, in the long run, I think you fight it with a quick trip to Reno. But for now, I say you take the high road.
Meaning?
A debate. Ah. It worked for Kennedy, and it almost worked for Mondale. I see you as somewhere in between.
Oh, that little tramp! That slut! That little trollop! What does she think she's doing? What is she doing?
I believe it's called oral sex.
Well, not around here it isn't. That's called sodomy, and that's called disgusting.
Well, in political circles, it's also called blowing the election.
Dick, how are we going to fight this thing?
Now, Babs, in the long run, after he's elected, I think you fight it with a quick trip to Reno. For now, I think you take the high road.
Meaning?
Meaning a debate. It worked for Kennedy, and it almost worked for Mondale. I see your Hal as kind of in between there.
Will you take a check?
Yes, sir. I can indeed. I'd appreciate it, since I'm kind of on the go these days, if you'd make it out to cash.
And he said, Dad, I hate to tell you, but the car looked cleaner before you washed it. And that's my own son. So in conclusion, I'd like to say what I've been saying all along. Water, you waiting for? Vote for me!
Please, ladies and gentlemen, please, I must caution you to please sit on it until we are done up here. Thank you. Now, Mrs. Fenton, would you like to ask Mr. Adams the same question about the little drinking fountains in Chicago, or do you have a different question?
No, that's my only question, Mr. Mull, so I'll ask it again of Mr. Adams.
Thank you, Mrs. Benson. You said Chicago, which brought to mind a wondrous happening, I'd say about, I don't know how many years ago, but I was about 12. My dad took me to the Museum of Science and Industry. And when I went in there, I was amazed at the size of it. They've got a big one there, believe me. They had a coal mine in the basement, a whole coal mine. They had miners with lamps.
Could we get to the point, Mr. Adams, please?
Oh, yes. Anyway, my dad showed me a plumbing exhibit. I looked at it and I said, Dad, someday I'm going to be a water commissioner. And my dad said, Son, I don't really care. I just want you to be the best you can be. And I know I'm the best water commissioner that can be, but this ball of slime comes along, slinging his slime and trying to ruin things.
Time is up. We're on a timer here. Mrs. Adams, please sit down. I have to get in another question, and I believe it's Mr. Purvis's turn, if you have anything you want to ask.
As you all know, I'm simply here as a concerned citizen. Concerned, like all of you, that we elect a water commissioner whose character and reputation is as spotless as the water he commissions. Unfortunately, neither of these men fit the bill. How do I know this? Here's how I know this. Bring in the photo. This, of course, is one candidate's wife. And this is the other candidate's lap. God knows how long this wife-swapping arrangement's been going on. If this is all we have to choose from, God help us!
Please, ladies and gentlemen, please settle down.
Folks, I don't know about you, but I say we can't trust either of those two men up there. There's only one honest man on that podium, and it's Bud Purvis. I say Purvis for water commissioner. Purvis!
Young man, look, we're going to have... Look, we're going to have... There's a discussion group afterwards. We can do all of this. Why can't we wait for the question and answer period? Is that too much to ask of all of you? Oh, this is ridiculous. I'm out of here.
No, I don't want the check. I just want to borrow a blank check.
Just
for
a
second.
check.
Yeah, I just want to show my husband Hal something. I'll give it right back.
So you want your check?
Well, whatever's easier for you.
Well, I want some dessert.
I'm sure you do. If we order
As you can
dessert,
see,
we'll
the
put another
Hals and
check.
their spouses are ironing out their difficulties and will soon be fast friends again. As for the post of water commissioner, Bud Purvis won a unanimous victory as a write-in. His first act in office was to appoint Dick Smithers as his chief inspector. Dick inspected the main valve down at the water purification plant and found 81 pairs of assorted stretch socks jamming the filter. As Dick himself said,
It's enough to make the water look like root beer and taste like the new Coke.
the socks were, of course, given to the homeless who immediately put them on over their other socks. We hope that this exercise in political journalism has maybe encouraged young people everywhere to get involved and stay involved in this pipe dream we call democracy. You young people, you've got a real head start, you know. Abe Lincoln had to write with charcoal briquettes on the back of a shovel, and you kids already have ballpoint pens. Most of you. Think about it.
Look, it was 3 weeks ago. I don't even remember where my hand was. The point is, the check, for some reason, like, you know,
No, it
fell
actually went
over
like
the
this.
side,
Oh,
and then
the
I
thing was,
leaned
the check
over
was
and
more
thought,
over-
ouch!
Hey!
Let me tell you something about our fourth and final show. It's called White Crime. This time we go for broke. We take off the gloves and do our best to ruin some people's lives. Next, White Crime. You could be next. It was the Wright brothers, two industrious young fellows from Dayton, Ohio, who revamped traveling in this great country of ours. And now it's a snap to get anywhere within 2 or 3 days. Our destination, the beautiful Elysian fields of HawkinsI Falls, Ohio. And as usual, our producers went to no expense to make sure we got there in style and safety so we could bring home the bacon, or in this case, a TV show. Of course, if we were doing a special on breakfast foods, we could have a segment on bacon, and probably a darn good one, but certainly not a whole show. Not unless you split it up into all kinds of specialty meats. That would, of course, include bacon and beef jerky and Jimmy Dean sausage and scallops. And, whoop, caught myself. Scallops and mollusk. Well, my lucky day. I didn't die on the plane. My foot's not asleep anymore. My bag's the first one off. So far, no crime. Good morning.
Good morning. Oh, wait.
What? Oh, okay.
This bag does not match the baggage claim.
You know, you're right. Whoopsie.
What are you trying to pull here, pal?
Oh, pulling nothing. I just grabbed the
Officer,
wrong bag. Just...
got a live one here.
No,
Step
you
over this
don't.
way, sir.
No.
Step
What?
over here, sir.
I'm Dr. Fisher.
Hello, doctor.
This is my doctor's bag.
I'll be darned. It is. It looks exactly like my bag.
Save the horse shit. It says doctor right on it, see? Now, I've got enough drugs in this bag to put a cow to sleep, and you're from Hollywood.
Right.
I can put 2 and 2 together, young man. I haven't been living under a rock for 62 years. Arrest this bozo.
Oh, no, that's unnecessary. You see, it's just a mistaken identity thing. A lot of these bags look alike.
Yeah, I'll say that, don't they? Yeah. Come on, downtown.
What? No. You know, generally, I'm a very generous tipper, but I'm having serious second thoughts here. This is no way to handle a guest in your community.
Joyce, I don't know why you bother making pies. These people do it so much better than you.
You know what? You're right. I think it's the crust, isn't it?
It's not soggy like yours.
Yeah, mine's a little heavy.
It's doughy.
Yeah, it's my mother's.
Well, you eat it then. I'm just saying. I like it.
No,
and it's not sweet.
You're right. I mean, I don't
a
like
sweet
admitting it,
pie.
but you're absolutely right.
Why didn't you
Pie
buy
crust wasn't
store-bought?
that great either, was it?
Store-bought's the best.
I don't know. Maybe I could meet Danny or something and get his recipe.
Mom, there is no Danny. He's made up, like Ronald McDonald or Bozo.
Who would make up Danny? It's gotta be a real person.
You know, Debbie, sometimes you're so stupid.
Debbie, are you going to argue with your brother or you're going to eat your pie? Because if you're not going to eat it, I'm going to, huh?
Honey. You've had my pie, you've had Tommy's pie. You don't need Debbie's
Who's
pie.
counting? That's why I married you, honey, because you're right every time. Check.
There you go, hon.
Whoa, what, we break something or what?
What is that, the address?
Wait a minute, nobody ordered tax.
Honey. Just pay it, okay?
Oh, she loves
I got
it.
lipstick
Oh, that's all right. Listen, let's see if we got into the old long green. Joyce, how are you in the money department?
Oh, honey, I've just got the grocery money, and you made the rule. You can't touch it.
Where's she? Eileen? Sweetheart, you still take plastic, don't you?
Oh, sure. We take MasterCard, Visa, Diners, Amex, and JCPenney.
Chevron's no good?
Not here.
I may have my J.C. Penney's.
Hold on.
Oh, I got it.
Ah, J.C. Penney's we got. We can walk out the front door with our head held high. It's the white Rolls Royce. I'm kidding, it's the blue station wagon.
You are such a character.
Joyce, wait a minute. How the heck could it be $12.92? The shrimp was $4.50 and you shared it with Debbie.
Because I want to be model.
Right, and isn't the salad bar free? Now, what else was there?
Honey, we had 4 pies.
How much could 4 pies be?
Well, at least $1.50 a pie.
Oh, my gosh. We used to eat here, the 4 of us, for under
Honey,
$10.
Do we have money to give to this car guy?
I don't have a penny. I left my last $3 on the table for the waitress. Don't worry, if this guy can speak English, I'll talk my way out of it. I'll get it back. Just because they park it doesn't mean they own it.
Hey, Dad.
What?
I gotta go take a whiz. I'll be right back.
Nice timing.
I got an idea. Pretend like you forgot something. Go back inside, take half the tip off the table, and give it to this guy.
You're a
okay?
genius. What would I do without you? Be right back.
This Parker guy, right?
Yeah.
Alan, I'm only allowed 1 phone call, and I figured I'd do the smart thing and call my partner. I know it's good for the show. Why do you think we're filming the call? But in a few minutes, that's going to be in the can, and there's really no need for me to still be in the can. Yes. Well, speaking of cans, you know, I got a toilet here with no door, and it's kind of hard to maintain your celebrity status when you're evacuating in front of a 300-pound cat burglar. Yeah, you too. Okay, take me away, pal. There, take this. I might hang myself.
Oh, hello. Do you go by Greenleaf Terrace? Which one does? This one used to.
Honey, would you please just check your pockets again, please?
Joyce, stop badgering me. I've told you 100 times. I went into the restaurant, I looked on the table, there was no tip. The waitress said there never was a tip. So I just finished Debbie's pie and came right back out.
I don't understand this. I mean, I swear I saw that $3 on the table. It makes no sense.
I know what happened to it. Tommy stole it. He does it every time we eat out. Ever since he was 9, a little thief. He didn't have to whiz.
Debbie, that is a terrible thing to say about your brother. You're calling him a thief. Now, you listen to me. Look at me when I'm talking to you. The whole idea of this family is based on love, respect, and trust, young lady. Empty your pockets, Peckerhead.
Boy, your old man. I have never seen anyone that pissed off in my life.
It must have been the bus driver not taking his check. It couldn't have been the $3.
Yeah, he was pissed. But let's look on the bright side. You'll still be a young man when you get out of here.
Drugs a big problem around here?
No, I can get you anything you want.
Hello again. Martin Mull here. Well, I guess this really is our lucky day. We came here looking for crime, and now I am one. Yes, even though completely innocent of any wrongdoing, I have allowed them to arrest me and book me. Why, you may ask? Well, I guess just like Geraldo Rivera, I wanted to get knee-deep into the truth. Will I be treated fairly, honestly, and blindly? Well, that's not up to me, and it's certainly not up to my roommate. It's not even really up to the jury. It's up to this man right here. Probably the most important man in law and order today. Your lawyer. When it's your ass in the ringer, you want your lawyer. Right, Ned? Ned?
That's our motto.
They've taken everything, including the toaster oven.
And that was $100.
As if things weren't bad enough, the Harrisons returned home to find out that they'd been robbed. The local police were of no use. They were busy practicing their horsemanship for the annual Labor Day parade. So, what to do? Well, like many Americans, the Harrisons decided to turn to private security.
It's kind of embarrassing having nothing in your home. Yeah. We're going to fix that. Hal, how many windows are we talking about here?
In the whole house?
Yeah.
I have no idea. I never counted them.
Well, you better start. What do you think the chances are, Mr. Harrison, of your wife being raped in the next 20 minutes?
I have no idea.
1 in 2? 50-50. Pretty scary, isn't it?
Who would do a thing like that?
You have a teenage daughter, don't you?
Yes.
Is she attractive?
We like to think so.
Honey, I think we should go for the whole shebang, including the searchlights and Doberman.
Joyce, we're talking about $4,000 here.
Do you have a basement?
Yes.
Big mistake. Do you have a phone?
Yes, sir.
Answer it.
Will do.
Yellow! That's great, thank you. They found the guys.
Oh, great, with our furniture?
I didn't ask.
You are the victims. The victims of society. And I'm going to lean very heavily on that in the pretrial hearing, all right. Here's our story. You guys moved furniture before?
We don't have to answer that.
Let's say you have. You do it as a group. How long has a group been together?
We don't have to answer that either.
I'm writing down 5 years. You've been together 5 years. You're experts at moving furniture. You went to the wrong house. That's all. Simple misunderstanding.
Sounds okay to me.
Good.
Hey!
What? What the hell is that?
It's a toothbrush.
Let's sharpen it.
Fine.
Damn. Not getting anywhere.
Well, it's a medium. You probably need a hard. And could you not touch the bristle part, please?
Oh, sorry.
No, not super unleaded, unleaded. For the love of Pete. Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, I am. My boss won't let me make personal calls. That's a long story. Anyway, ma'am, about my son. No. I've told you, he didn't steal our furniture. Yes, he is in jail, but it's for stealing the tip off a restaurant table. Not the furniture, that was someone else. Anyway, I was wondering if I could just come on down and bail him out. I just wanted to teach him a lesson, and I think I did a pretty good job, maybe a little too good. But his mother now is jumping on all over me to forgive and forget. What do you mean, bound over for trial? No, that's what I'm trying to tell you. I've dropped the charges. You have no reason to try him. I should have called yesterday. That's the day you make out the docket. Okay. No, I can understand. Once something is scheduled in ink, I can understand that. Okay, let me ask you something else now about my furniture. The furniture. Okay. Who? Oh, for the love of Pete, he's the same lawyer as defending my son. Boy, that guy's got me coming and going. He's got quite a racket, doesn't he? How do you become a public defender?
Where's the big guy?
Oh, he's in the infirmary. He poked himself with a toothbrush and had to have stitches.
Ah, we'll talk fast. Marty.
It's Martin.
Martin, T-Y-N?
I-N.
I-N. They're paying me to work for you, and I'm working for you, and I think I worked it out.
You've worked what out?
The plea bargain.
The what?
The plea bargain.
The what?
The plea... Look, you're accused of stealing Dr. Fisher's medical bag. If you pay the fine, I think I can get them to drop the charges.
Oh, for Pete's sake, Ned, if I pay the fine, where's the bargain? Plus, I didn't try to take his bag. I never even got mine back.
I know that, and you know that, but I can't get the court to buy it. Look, don't worry. Just pay the fine and go to Hibbing and do a documentary on specialty meats.
Uh-huh. Ned, is it possible for a person to fire a public defender?
I think so. I'd have to check the manual. I've got one in the Saab.
No, Ned, no need. You're fired. I'm going to handle my own case, okay? I will butter up the judge if necessary. I will drop Hollywood names if it comes to that. But I will walk out of here. Because I'm innocent and because this is America, isn't it?
Whatever you say, Mr. Mull. I'm working for you.
No, you're not.
Honey, believe us. We're doing everything we possibly can. We love you. You're our son.
Well, get me out of this hellhole. There's a big guy here who really likes me.
Oh, honey, that's nice.
No, I mean really likes me.
Well, apparently it's not that easy to spring you, son, or we would have done it by now.
But we're going to continue to try, honey.
There's a lot of red tape, you understand. You've been bound over for trial, and now it's no longer Tommy Harrison versus mean old dad. Now it's Tommy Harrison versus the state.
But we're on your side, honey. Don't worry.
The whole state of Ohio versus me.
It doesn't look good, honey.
Yeah, but it doesn't look bad either. I'm writing a book. I'm on page 41, and it looks good. It's about life behind bars, and it's called Martin and Me.
Do you think there's a movie in it?
Oh, absolutely. And so does Martin.
Who's gonna play you?
Oh, Martin said if I could interest a major studio, he would play both roles.
Oh, gee.
I'm still pushing for Daniel Travanti as me.
What's wrong with Ryan O'Neal as Martin?
Way too butch.
Oh, you're right.
Well, tomorrow's the big one. We'll all have our day in court. A chance for us to be judged by a jury of our peers. These are registered voters who take a patriotic cut and pay for 2 weeks every year to sit in judgment of other people who are quite often a lot smarter than they are. That's the American way.
Okay. Who we got today, Bert?
Tommy Harrison versus his father and the state. Next, Tommy Harrison's father versus the Midnight Moving Company. Next, the big guy again. And last, but not least, Mr. Hollywood versus Doc Fisher.
Mr. Defense Attorney?
Your Honor?
Let's hear your closing argument. Well, come on. I don't have all day.
Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I ask you, is this the face of a hardened criminal? Or is this the face of a confused and bewildered young man, emotionally brutalized and economically deprived by his own parents? In complete confidence, Your Honor, this fine young man confessed to me moments ago that he had had a dizzy spell and impulsively snatched those measly $3 from that Danny's tabletop in the hopes of buying some pipe tobacco for his father. Yes, the very same father that ran him in Your Honor, I sum it up in one phrase. Cherchez le daddy.
What the hell does that mean?
It's French, Your Honor. It means look for or at the daddy.
I don't even smoke a pipe. This is a complete travesty. I was just trying to teach my son a lesson. Is that a crime?
Sit down, Mr. Harrison. Your boy's as guilty as hell. And here's my verdict. 6 months at the Tough Love program in Wheeling, West Virginia. That ought to straighten out this little peckerhead.
Excuse me. Your Honor, excuse me, if I may. I'm the boy's mother, and I really would like to say something if possible. I saw the movie Tough Love on TV, and I thought it was good. The acting was pretty good, most of it. I thought the mother was very believable, but I must say Hal is nothing, absolutely nothing like the father. What was his name, that guy that looks like the guy on Hill Street? I can't. Anyway, and Tommy is much nicer, much nicer than that child. It was, oh shoot, it's not Ricky Schroeder, is it? What is? It was something Ricky or Ricky something. I don't know who he was, but let me just tell you, you're making a huge mistake here, huge mistake.
That's a nice speech. I think the father was played by Daniel J. Travani.
That's right, that's who it was, yeah.
The case is closed. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, thank you, but we don't need you.
Now, wait a fucking minute here. I am entitled to a trial by jury.
Whoa! Did I hear the F word?
You sure did?
Well, that's contempt. 2 weeks in the county jail and a $400 fine for you, Mr. Dirty Mouth. This is a good lesson for your son.
It's ridiculous. You did say the F word.
I know.
gosh.
But we're in court. I thought you could say anything you wanted.
Well, wait a minute, Your Honor. I've come to know this family pretty well, pretty intimately. A lot of handheld stuff, if you know what I mean. And I would have to say that tough love is not what that boy needs. He needs strong, adult, male company. People he can lean on, that kind of guy.
Are you suggesting yourself?
Well, I would suggest myself in a New York second, except there's the chance I'm going to be doing hard time here in HawkinsI Falls. But again, that's up to you, isn't it? And boy, those earrings are beautiful. They really are. They're you. But let's say I am freed. Well, even then, I'd have to pass because my schedule is just a bear. I've got dry cleaning I haven't taken in weeks.
Mr. Mull?
Yeah.
What are you suggesting?
Oh. Well, I was thinking maybe of this largest gentleman right here. You know, in the few days that we've been kind of like roommates, I've come to know this man, and I'd have to say he's as solid as a rock.
So what are you in for this time?
Borrowing a photo, Matt?
That's nothing.
No, that doesn't sound so bad. I agree with Mr. Mull here. I mean, what this boy needs is guidance, see? So while his dad's in jail, I want you, you, to report to his house, and I want you to teach this kid whatever it is that boys ought to learn. Toy trains and push-ups and that kind of boy crap.
Thank you. So I'm free to go then, right? Pick up my stuff?
Mr. Mull, sit down. Next, something about a moving company. Who represents them?
Again, my privilege, Your Honor.
Well, where the hell are they?
They were here a minute ago. Jeepers, they must have stepped out.
Stepped out?
Police are still searching for 3 ne'er-do-wells who apparently just walked out of HawkinsI Falls Superior Court today during their own trial. It was unusual, to say the least.
Well, I'm not sure that they were ever here in the first place. I mean, I never saw them. That's for damn sure.
Thank you, Judge.
Speaking of Judge Thompson, she really threw the book at another defendant today in a case we've come to know as Mr. Showbiz versus the kindly old doctor. That's right. It looks like Gadabout Martin Mull is going to be kind of a fixture around HawkinsI Falls for some time to come. He came here to clean up, and that's just what he'll be doing.
Hold open. It's open. Wait a minute, 2-parter.
Down the hatch.
12:30, Hal.
So?
Your turn to scoop.
No, wait, that's
My
if
turn to-
that's if we start at 6. We started at 8. You got 2 more hours, Mr. Showbiz.
Why did we start at 8? Who couldn't find their special socks here?
An orthopedic sock. My left leg is a 1/4 inch shorter than my right, and you know it.
They look the same to me.
You want me to scoop? You think that's easier?
Yes.
I'll show you something about scooping. Put your finger in there, like try to pull that away from me. That gives you
Will
grip.
Just scoop, Hal.
Try to pull it away from me.
There.
You can't do it.
I didn't try very hard.
You act like these are going to blow up in your face. Go down to them. Scoop. You ever see pictures of Pee Wee Reese fielding a
What you
grounder?
do, measure your legs one morning and find this thing out that it's a 1/4 inch shorter or something?
Doctor did it. Scoop.
Can I get another bag?
Sorry, not till that one's full.
He's not allowed to give us another bag.
Oh, this one's just about shot.
No.
You watch him. He knows what he's doing.
Okay, this must have been a horse show here or something. Look
What's
over
the
there.
record for these? Is there a record? Because I think we got a pretty good bag full. It's not even lunchtime. Speaking of which, I'm working up quite an appetite today. Here we go. Scoop.
It's
and
deep dish
drop.
pizza again, I think.
Oh, not bad.
Well, that's it. If you're still watching this, then you're probably a real video addict. You probably checked out every tape in the store, including those in the Best of Ally McGraw section. Until next time, this is Martin Mull saying, turn this thing off and get to know your family. They're pretty funny, too. So long.
Hi, I'm Terry Garr, and I'm one of the few white people in America who can dance.
Hi, I'm Bob Eubanks, and I'm a white person. I've been on television for many years, and I guess this is the first time that I've ever publicly stated that I am a white person.
In the history of white people in America, host Martin Mull takes you on an in-depth, conscientious, and outrageous look at that often misunderstood non-ethnic group we've come to know as white people.
That's about all.
Oh, love.
With insightful interviews,
Odori dekinai.
important information,
Pepper's a binder, you know, it's all right if you're having a little digestive problem, but, you know, you have to use a lot of white sauce and
Mushroom soup.
That's
That's
exactly
exactly
right.
and the latest scientific data.
Now, our research shows that these are the 5 most popular white meals. You have your macaroni and cheese, your grilled cheese sandwich, plain cheese sandwich, tuna noodle casserole with potato chip topping. Now, you can do this homemade, or Stouffer's has a dandy one in case you're pressed for time. And then for a dry snack, we have your portable and affordable Cheez-Its.
You'll meet the Harrisons and discover how white families enjoy spending time together.
I hate this meal.
Your mother worked hard to prepare a nice meal, young lady. Now show some appreciation. Sit.
You'll see firsthand how friendly white people can be.
So when Irma told me that one of my neighbors was sick, I decided to do the neighborly thing.
Oh, I'm a Sikh, Mrs. Harrison. I'm not sick. Oh.
And you'll be moved to tears by the heartfelt patriotism that forms the backbone of white culture in America today.
In conclusion, I'd like to leave you with something my father used to tell me when I was just a lad, and I think it pretty well sums it all up. And I'd like to quote, "The flag that waves above us all is mainly red and blue, but we wouldn't have stars or half of its stripes if it wasn't for the white part, too."
Every man, woman, and child in America should be strapped to a chair and forced to watch that show. Several times. I'm not kidding.
Martin Mull presents a hilarious mock documentary, The History of White People in America, from MCA Home Video.